Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Joshua and this is Rooftop. In this workshop, we're going to be creating an autumn landscape. Now, since winter is almost here, well, not really much in Mumbai since Bombay doesn't really have any cool weathers over here, but for the ones outside of Mumbai and for the ones in Mumbai hoping winter does come, let's do an autumn landscape painting. Okay, so I have my sheet of paper here, and if you need, I can put the reference as well, which is right about here. Oh, okay, 1 second. Yeah, there you go. I'll keep this reference over here. So we can first start off with a very simple drawing. I have my pencil, and I will very lightly draw out where I want the mountains to be. Just like this, and then over here we will have okay, and then towards the bottom I'll draw like a horizon line, but it won't really be the horizon, it'll just be the land. And then here we can have some trees. You can see how roughly I've drawn it. And then for the ones over here at the back, let me just show you which ones I'm talking about. Yeah, for the ones over here, we can do these later on. So we'll start with the back over there, and then we'll do this tree, the autumn trees, and the grassland as well, and then we can finally finish off with the trees over here at the back. All right. So now that I'm done with my sketch, you can see that it's a super, oh, that's pretty bright. Yeah, the super simplistic sketch. I have barely drawn anything. And it's a good practice actually. It helps you, not focus on the very minute details. Okay, so I will start off by painting the sky. So I'll take some white color, then a little bit of blue, like this, and then I can start adding the sky over here. Now if you feel that is too bright, you can just take a little bit more white. I think 1 second. I'll reduce the brightness a little bit. Okay, that should be better. So you can see very roughly I am just covering this part up. And then here we can have the mountains. Just like that. And then for this side here, what I will do is I will take a bit of red because I want to make a slightly purplish color. So I'll take a little bit of red, and I have some blue here, which is okay, still wet. So I will add some blue. Let me show you over here. I'm mixing some blue color, but I'll take a little bit more white. And then a tiny bit of red, a very small, a very minimal amount. No, so this is acrylics. So most of my paintings are done in either acrylics or watercolors. but we are planning on introducing gouache, which is very similar to poster colors, you could say. So I'll just add some of this over here, like that, and then a little bit this side. This is going to, oh, it already looks like mountains. I didn't expect it to look like a mountain that quick. Okay, and then a little bit here at the bottom. And we'll add a few strokes over there. I'll maybe take a little bit more white. I can lighten this up a little bit. Add a few strokes down, some over here, and some in between these to give it that, you know, that sort of a gradients, you could say, from light to dark kind of a feel. Same thing here. And see, I'm doing all patchwork. I'm not trying to blend in anything as such. So here as well. And one of the best ways to start learning painting is by making patchwork, because then that will help you understand how we can simplify the light and shadow, and then if you do eventually want to start blending it and smoothing out the lines, then you can do that after, you know, after understanding how we can paint with patchwork first. So I'll take a bit of blue in this. Yeah, that seems good. Be a little bit of red. Don't want it too reddish nor too bluish, just somewhere in between. Mix these both. Add a little bit of white. Let me see. Okay, so you can see it's very subtle. And even if you put the wrong color down, right, when you're using acrylics, it's very easy to, you know, cover up any sort of mistake that you make. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to add some random strokes here, which I will then cover up with another color. So that way you can see how easy it is to, you know, really cover up any sort of mistake you feel that you have made. And honestly, you don't really have to do anything. You just have to put another color on top of it, and it just gets covered up. Like this. Okay. Anywhere else? Okay, that should be fine. Now I will take, no wait, before I do that, I will just clean my brush, because blue is quite a strong color. You can see that my hand is going through the reference. And the reason why it is doing that is so that I can, you know, explain what parts I am doing, what parts I am painting, and just like show you like this part here, like that. Okay, so now this blue that I have, I'll take some white first. Make sure that I don't have too much water in my brush. Mix it a little bit in this blue, just a tiny bit, and then I will take some brown color to neutralize the blue. Yeah, there you go. And now once I put this down, when you mix it properly, yeah, there you go. This looks so much better. And if you feel that, you know, it is a little too grayish, then you can add a little bit of blue in it. So if you see, blue is a very strong color, so it can easily just change the color of your entire palette that you just made. So actually this was a mistake. I can just cover it up like that. So there's honestly nothing to really worry about. Just make sure that the paint is dry though before you do so, otherwise you'll just end up mixing in that color and then you won't be able to get or put down the color that you mixed. I think I said color too many times. There's going to be someone or the other who's gotten confused. Oh, look at that. Looks so lovely already. Okay, a little bit in the middle and then this area here. And don't be too afraid. Do not paint like this. This line here, I will come down a little bit, come up. No, don't do any of that. Just I'll show you with this side here. Now you can see this white part. I need to cover it a little bit, but I need to leave a bit of blue sticking out. So I'll just keep a bit of blue there and then come down again here. And same thing this side, a little blue poking outwards. There's this paint. Yeah, a little blue poking outwards, and then the rest is covered. So I'll just cover it like that. See, don't get scared to paint. Especially if you're doing it with acrylics, you can easily correct your mistakes. Because what happens, right, or at least with me, what had happened was that there was a time where I was scared to paint because I didn't want to make any mistakes, and then doing that for quite a bit of time, I realized that it just stopped me from learning. So I will do the same thing this side as well. Okay, maybe I can darken this a little bit. And in between this, I can add a bit of this blue color in it. And I'm just taking little by little. I don't mind going back and forth again and again. See how simple that was? Like that. Now see, this line, the small part, was a mistake that I made, but it still looks pretty good. So I don't need to, really change anything over there. And then a little bit this side. And there, now you have this nice fold of the mountain. And then the same thing here. This also I have added. And you can see I have covered that part up. On this side, I'll just keep tapping it a little bit so I can get that sort of blendy kind of look. Blendy kind of look is not really a word, but as long as the point gets across, that's all that matters. And the same thing this side as well. And then over here, just very roughly cover this part up. A little bit this side. Go a bit over the blue also. Don't just leave it as it is, otherwise it will look like a very big blob. And then we can take a bit of white and mix it in. And then we can add like an extra tone to these paintings to the mountains. Oh, look at that. You can see how nicely it looks, how nicely it's come. Okay, and then a bit over here. Come up a little bit. Maybe a bit this side as well. Okay, that seems to be good enough. All right, and then for the trees, I'll just bring this part down a little bit more, lighten this area up as well. Lovely. Let's see, with whatever little paint I have, I'll just add some very light textures here. So I'm putting minimal pressure on my brush. I'm keeping it very loose, and I'm just slightly rubbing the surface over here so that we can get that texture of the mountains and the trees sort of blending in. Okay, that should be fine. I'll clean my brush now. Make sure you clean your brush thoroughly. Yeah, this is how it is supposed to be. There shouldn't be any sort of paint coming down. Okay, now I will take some yellow. Also, if you want to know the difference between good quality acrylic paints and cheap quality ones, once these paints dry, no matter how much water you put on it, the color shouldn't start spreading again. If it does, then I wouldn't really consider it acrylic, because then it would be more like poster or gouache, you could say, not acrylic paints. Okay, so I was gonna do this part over here, so I'll just take some blue color, a little bit of blue. For the grass, I'll put this down. You know what, I need a light color as well, so I'll just start by applying this over here. So I just mixed it in whatever blue I had remaining. I didn't take the blue that I just added like this and just spread it out. And also, if you want your colors to match, right, mix each color with the other. Like now how this yellow I mixed with this blue that I already had. So this green will automatically match the hue of this. So that is like a pretty good art hack, you could say. And then I'll take a little bit more yellow. Now I'll take some blue that I took separately. And then a little bit of brown to desaturate it. Okay, and then I will apply this color here as well. Take a little bit of water, mix it in, and then spread this out. And don't be afraid, even if I do this, it doesn't matter. Okay, like that. And now whatever remaining I have on my brush, I will just very roughly bring it down a little bit. And then in this I will add a bit of yellow. And yeah, for now I'll just add a little bit of yellow and then have the middle tone painted as well there. I'll add a bit more yellow. Some yellow, a little bit of brown. Yeah, there you go. That's the color we wanted. So it'll be a slightly warm yellow, you could say. A warm green, sorry. So even with this dry paint, right, that I have right now, so what I mean by dry paint is if you look at the mountains, you can see how it's sort of blended over here. It's very smooth, each brush stroke. When I come here, you can see how patchy it is. It's sort of textured, how like this one over here. So even with this sort of paint that you have on your brush, you can get some really nice textures onto your painting. I'll take only some yellow color. And then apply it to the bottom. Like that. Nice, that should be more than enough. Okay, now once we're done with this, I'll clean my brush up once again. If at any point you feel that I'm going, pretty fast, or maybe you didn't understand something, you can let me know. I will, if possible, I will try to recreate it. If not, I can explain it again. Okay, now this picture, I will just make it back to normal so that you can see. Now we still have some work left over here, but I will do that later on. So when we paint, we'll go for the bigger details first, which is basically covering up the entire sheet of paper. Once we're done with everything, then we can go for the the little details that are there, like this little snow on the mountain at the top, which I didn't do yet. And then let me show you. Yeah, so like the snow in the mountain over here, and then this patch of footpath that is there at the bottom as well. And then maybe over here also we can lighten up the sky quite a bit as compared to this. Okay. Now I'll take some red color and then some yellow also, and mix it in. I seem to need a little bit more yellow since that is just plain red. And then I will add a bit of brown because my my orange is a little too bright. So I'll add a bit of brown in there. To darken it, I'll take some blue and mix it in. Oh, sorry, it was invisible, my bad. Mix this in here. Now I can start covering all of this up. So when I do this, I will very roughly just cover it up with a single tone. I'm not focusing too much on what I'm doing right now. I'm just focusing more on covering up this entire patch. Because if you see, you can still see the green color below it, meaning this color is transparent. So we have transparent, we have semi-opaque, and then opaque. And that is all. If you look at this over here, the square. Now, let me see if I have another one with a different. Okay, all seem to be the same. So if you look at this square over here, if you look at the square, If it is entirely white, meaning it is an opaque color, meaning it will cover up the way this mountain is covering up the paper. And over here you'll see, if you see entirely, just like a thin box entirely, the way we have this bottom one, meaning it's entirely transparent, like this orange over here where we can see the color below it. And if it is just a thin box with nothing inside, then that means it's transparent. And if it is like this, with half white, half transparent, meaning it is semi-opaque or semi-transparent, meaning it will cover up a bit but not that much also. Just like this. Now if you see, it's still a little too red, so I will take some blue color and pick up some of this orange that I have, and I can just add, like, that is a bit too much, so I'll add some yellow to it. Now it's turned green. I'll add a bit of red, a little bit more yellow. Yeah, there you go, much better. So I will add this over here towards the bottom half of the trees. And see how I'm applying it also. I'm just putting patches down and then spreading it all around. Like this. Okay, and then I will clean my brush. And inside of this, let me just mix this up. I will take a bit more yellow. So we won't use white up until we need white. So if I want to lighten orange, I can just add yellow color to it, and you can see how it is already sort of getting lighter. And we'll put this wherever it is necessary. So like for this part here, there's quite a bit, and then this area also, and then a few patches like this. And then I can take some more yellow and mix it in. So it's not really making much of a difference now. So now over here I can take a bit of white and mix it. Now what this will do is it will not only make it lighter, but it will make it a lot more opaque. So it will be a lot easier to cover up certain areas. If I bring it down here, you can see how much lighter it has become. A little bit this side also. But I won't cover everything, just small patches. Like this. Add a little bit of red color into it to give it a little bit of transparency type, as if there's lighting, or as if there is light passing through the trees. Yeah, there you go, like that. Okay, then I will make my green color, which is some blue, some yellow, a little bit of yellow. Let me show you here. So I want it to be dark green, so I'll make some green color here and then add a dot of red color into it. And then now I can add the trees onto the back side. And I'll give it very wavy lines like this. I won't give it a very solid definition, you could say. And we'll overlap the orange color trees as well, so that it can give the feel that, you know, this tree is behind the autumn trees that are there. I'll take some more yellow, a little bit of blue, and then some red. Oh, sorry, I went out of screen. Then I can mix it in some of these colors and then paint the part in between over here. Add a bit of yellow color. Just a bit in between. And some red. Not too much. Yeah, there you go, like this. And just a few parts in between. Just like this, a little bit. Yeah. Then we'll clean our brush once again. Nicely, take some white. Just make sure all the water that is in your brush is removed. Okay, I'll take some white, a little bit of this blue. Blue is too strong. I think this one dot of blue is just changing it entirely. Okay, and then I can apply the ice cap onto the mountain, just like this, and then a bit over here also. A little bit this side, a stroke of white there, and a little bit at the top. Remember, keep it very loose. Don't try to draw each and every one as it is shown. Add your own touch to it. So I can even take this and just swipe it up, and you can see it's become much lighter. Like this, it's so dark, and now when I go, there you go. Now there's a bit of ice hiding in that corner. So you see, it's a lot more of just understanding how we can play with the nature of the paint, or how the paint works and how we can manipulate it in different ways. And now I will take all of this color, give it a bit of yellow, and then just put that down. This needs to be a lot more yellow, so I'll just take this to the side. And put this down there. Okay. And okay, now what I will do is I will just lighten up the background a bit. It seems to be very bluish, and that blue doesn't really fit well with all the colors that we've put down so far. So I will take a small amount of phthalo blue, take some white and mix it in. In just a small amount, and then I can start applying this color here. This seems to be a much better match. Just be careful when you're painting again, like when you put your hand over it. 1 second. Now over here, if you want, you can be a little bit structured this side for the outline of the mountain. Like see over here, I'll come up. So as much loose as I'm being towards the outline, I'm being a little bit deliberate. Like over here, let's come down a bit. Same thing on this side. And then for the rest, I'll just spread the paint all around. There, look at that. Looks so much nicer, so much calmer instead of that previous color that we added. And I'll mix a bit more white in here. Let me see if we can lighten this part up just a little bit more. So now I will keep it a bit patchy, and what this will do is it will add a lot more drama or character, you could say, to the painting. So I'm not sure if you can see it that well on this camera, but I'll just take it a bit closer. Okay,